Well, yeah, I think at this point all we can say is that we're just gonna keep going up because, oh my goodness, this episode was just insane in the best way possible. Like, another strong contender for best of the season. This is an absolutely phenomenal, outstanding, incredible episode of Miraculous, and I'm trying to keep spoilers out of this one as much as I can, but there is one part about it I do have to talk about, but outside of that, I will try to keep spoilers to a minimum because I want you guys to watch this episode as soon as humanly possible. Okay? Just want to say that right up front. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station. This is for anything and everything animation, including two superheroes that fight crime on the other side of the world. And welcome back to Miraculous March 3. I apologize, I cannot English today. Miraculous March 3, and now we are up to Season 3, Episode 13, Kwamibuster. This episode's just insane. Like, there's no other word for me to put it. It is insane. But insane in the best way possible. I will read off the little synopsis, and then I will discuss as much as I can about this episode, without spoilers, with the exception of one thing I'm going to talk about at the very end. So, I'm going to try to make this review quick and as spoiler-free as possible. Okay? Alright, let's begin. Miss Mendeleev discovers Plag and Tiki, because Plag keeps sneaking off to find cheese, and plans to reveal the existence of the Kwamis on a TV show, until that ends up not working, and instead she gets akumatized into Kwamibuster by Hawkmoth. And then she ends up capturing Tiki and Plag, forcing Marinette to have to take a different option. And what she does is very, very bold. So let's start with the basic episode structure before we get to that part. It's about your usual Miraculous structure, but it's done in a really cool way. Like, we have the entire class of students watching the TV show and Miss Mendeleev is on, which is a nice gesture. And then you have some great dialogue between Tiki and Plag about how they shouldn't be sneaking out like this, but yet they do it anyway. And of course, Tiki does yell at Plag a little bit, which, I mean, justifiably so. They're literally only there because they know about the cheese that's put out in Miss Mendeleev's classroom at the same time every single day when no one else is around. Like, how they figured that out, I don't know. It was done completely off screen. So, one of the times they go down there, they end up getting caught by Miss Mendeleev, and she tries to catch them. However, because they're Kwamis, they can't be caught. So instead, they phase through the wall, and Miss Mendeleev, thinking that her security cam footage, with the camera she literally duct taped to the corner of the classroom wall, I'm not gonna lie, that got a good laugh out of me, could be able to prove her theory. Her being the scientist, and wanting to prove that these things actually exist. So she goes on this show called True or False, and when she tries to bring up this fact, everyone straight up calls her false. Everyone. Even a goofy guy in a banana costume calls it false. So, yeah, and that's how she gets akumatized into Kwamibuster, and then she ends up capturing both Plag and Tiki, which has to force her to choose a different option. And at first, when she showed up at Foods again, I thought, oh, okay, she's gonna find another Miraculous that she's going to give to one of her classmates, turn them into a hero, and they're gonna help, but no. She decides to do something super risky. She puts on all the Miraculous at one time, uses one in particular to transform into Multi-Mouse, and then she unifies all of these Miraculous into different unifications, and then she multiplies herself, with each copy of her being a unification of a different Kwami with the Mouse Miraculous. This is the first time we've seen unification in the series, and wow, it is so freaking cool seeing all these different variations of the mouse costume mixed with all these different Kwamis, like with the Ladybug Miraculous, the Cat Noir Miraculous. She mixes with the Rena Rouge, she mixes with the Dragon. Like, she does all these different things with all these Miraculous. And we find out that doing this is incredibly dangerous, and it can mess with the mind and the body of its user if it's not done correctly. And if they're all used all at once. But thankfully she was smart and used multiple mouse to split herself into different copies, which made it easier for her to use all these different Miraculous at the same time. And seeing her use all these different copies of herself with all these different Miraculous powers is freaking incredible. Like, it's so cool. I had no idea that could even be done in the series. I mean, yeah, we've seen combined powers before in other shows. I mean, most notably Fusion in Dragon Ball Z. But here, it's not exactly the same thing because it's treated in a slightly more different way. It's a little hard to explain, but trust me, when you watch the episode, you'll get it. But it is really cool seeing it on screen, and I think they did an amazing job conveying that all throughout this episode, especially when we get to that back half and we see all these powers working in unison. Like, it is so freaking cool. Like, she even uses Rena Rouge's illusion to make Cat Noir think that Ladybug just saved Marinette because he was starting to get a little suspicious. So he runs off because he's about to transform back. And then it's not until afterwards we actually find out it's an illusion. And it just makes me like Marinette all the more. Like, she's smart, she's clever, and even though she knows that using all these Miraculous at one time is extremely dangerous, she found a way to do it where it did minimal risk to her, while also being able to maximize the potential of this unification. And it's so freaking cool. Like, I literally cannot praise this episode enough for the unifications. They are so cool. I hope they come back in more episodes in both this season and later seasons. And I just really, really liked it. Like, I don't really know what else to say. I just really, really liked it. It was an awesome part of the episode, and it made the episode far more significant than your average episode of Miraculous. And even then, when they're just using the basic template mostly throughout this episode, it still works to great effect because of the sharp writing, all the characters remaining in character, and again, Marinette having to be more clever than usual. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool episode. Also, this will also explain how in the next episode, Cat Noir ends up in a banana costume. I'm not gonna lie, that visual alone's pretty funny. So, yeah, I don't really know what else I can really say about this episode without going into full spoilers. But unification was literally the only spoiler I wanted to talk about with this episode because the rest of this episode is just so freaking amazing that you need to just see it for yourself. Final Verdict is an easy 10 out of 10, a very high contender for best of the season, and I have a feeling from here we have nowhere to go but up as we get closer and closer to the finale of the season. And we'll continue that journey next time when we talk about the next episode, Feast. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And stay tuned, because we still have a lot of Miraculous to go. So, until next time, I'm Jot Small of Animation Station, and I'll see you next time. Peace.